Hi everybody, this is Howard the Teaserking coming to you with week 6 of the NFL. How time flies when you're having fun. I'm just been on fire. I had Philadelphia last night. Um, it just keeps, I'm really hot. Making clear decisions, strong decisions. Um, like I said, college, I'm 19-1 the last 2 weeks. Pros, I'm like 12-4 the last 2 weeks. My locks, my pro lock won last week, Buffalo. Um, Hit Seattle as the dog at the Rams, which was a ballsy pick. They were going against the Rams. But that's the thing with Seattle. You get a good defense, that's who you bet on. Good defense will beat a good offense every time. There's another case in point. We had San Diego as a strong play. Buffalo was the lock. And then Green Bay over with Dallas was a beautiful play. And I just lost by half a point with Baltimore in the under against Oakland without Carr. I couldn't believe they scored so much in that game, but there was a fumble recovery running for a touchdown. And I was still there except for a last-minute field goal by Baltimore. But, this is what the problem with the league. Baltimore plays Pittsburgh and Jacksonville. They can't score 10 points. And here they go to Oakland with a good defense. With Carr out, it should be 10-9 game, and it goes 47. So that happens, but I still hit the Green Bay over. So I'm usually very good with the totals because I'm looking at quarterbacks and defense and picking them. I also had the under in the Michigan State game and the Miami Florida State game. So, when I'm picking the defenses, when I see two good defenses and no quarterback, that's when I like to play under. And I have a lot of different methods to choosing games. It's not just, I don't just look at the number and go, oh, they're 10-0 as a road dog, I'm betting them. It helps, and it's near the top of the list because I want to make sure the team is personality handles the where they are, if they're home or favorite or dog or on the road. But I have a lot of different methods I'm looking at, and we're going to get into play with one of them today. So let's first go to the dog being New Orleans, Detroit. New Orleans is 4.5, 5 over Detroit. Stafford looks like he's probable. He did practice yesterday. I know I'm in Michigan, and I heard it on the news. So as far as Stafford playing, yes. Their defense is very strong. I think it's a good concept. And New Orleans, I don't know how good their defense. I don't think they'll stop Stafford. He'll get his 20. So I basically like Detroit getting 10.5 of 11 points. Let's take a quick look at the trends here. Detroit's 5-0 this year in a teaser. They've been the dog 4 times, and they're 4-0 in the dog. They struggled as the favorite last week against Carolina and got a backdoor teaser cover because it was a 2.5, so you had 3.5 in Detroit, and they lost by 3 with a late touchdown. Which is another reason I like them this week. They'll get you that late touchdown against New Orleans if they need it. But I love the number at over 10.5, 11 is a strong number in the NFL, especially with a team like Detroit, who's a fairly good team, a good defense. Where you have trouble is with the weak defenses, right? And they give up a lot of points and you get blown out. Teams with a strong defense are very rarely blown out. So Baltimore's been blown out, but they got so many injuries when you look at their injury report. If they were healthy, I'd be taking Baltimore this week easily. But, there's just so many injuries. I love the NFL. They don't want anybody to play the four-season pregame because they're worried about injuries. And because they're not ready for the year because they've played week 3 a half a game in the preseason. They don't play week 4. Here comes week 1. Okay, go play a full game. By week 5, nobody has an offensive line. Everybody's hurt. It's such a huge injury report every week. It's unbelievable. So it's just funny how they're trying to prevent injury in a game that is injury. everybody gets hit every play, every game, and there's a lot of injury, and that's what happens. So it doesn't do you any good to rest him in week 4 and say, well, he got hurt in preseason versus week 1. Like, it doesn't matter. It's just pointless, and it's stupid. If they would play the players in week 4 and play them like they used to, there would be a lot less injuries because they'd be in better condition. The broken legs and the breaks that are, the guy gets rolled up, the guy gets rolled up. There's nothing you can do about that. But there's a lot of groin injuries, hamstrings. That's all from conditioning, from not playing in that week. Anyway, so Detroit 5-0, New Orleans 2-2 with and 2-2 against. They already had a bye. It's ridiculous. So New Orleans isn't, they're okay. Let's go to 16 and 17. So adding 2016 to the mix, the Lions are 18-4 in a teaser. So you 22 games, bet the Lions. You're 18-4, 82%. 7-3 is a road dog, so they're fairly good as a road dog. It's more the big games they lose as the road dog when they go to Green Bay or they, have a game against Dallas for a playoff game or something. That's when they lose. And I include playoffs in my stats. New Orleans 4-2 is a home favorite, 16-4 overall, 80%. 5-1 is a home favorite if you bet against them. So now we got a little hint of they're not a good home favorite. You think they are. When they were winning the Super Bowl, they were great as a home favorite. But see, here's a team with a weak defense, and all of a sudden they don't win at home, is what it's saying. So therefore, you bet against them, and maybe they pull out a win, but they don't blow out teams because you don't have a defense. You can't blow out teams. You don't blow out teams with your offense. You blow out teams when you have a strong defense and they're returning pick sixes and pressuring the quarterback and he fumbles and all that stuff. That's how you blow out. Let's go to 2015. Detroit's now 11-5 as a road dog, which is average at 69%. But New Orleans 7-5 is a home favorite. But 10-2 a bet against home favorite. So now the last 12 times New Orleans has been a home favorite, you bet against them, you win 10-2, 83%. Otherwise, they're just vanilla. They're 69%. You bet them 69%. If you don't, overall. Again, this is all in a teaser. Let's go back to 2014, and the plot thickens. Detroit 41-14 overall, 75%. They're okay. They're 15-8 as a road dog, but they've gotten stronger the last 2 years with a better defense. But then we look at New Orleans, 10-10 as a home favorite, 17-3, 85% bet against home favorite. So New Orleans hasn't since 2014, 14, 15, 16, and now 17. Has been the home favorite 20 times. If you bet against them, you're 17-3, 85%. And that is a very strong key here. They just don't blow anybody out. They're close games at home. They're only 10-10 if you bet them, so that means, they've only won 10 of the 20. They only won 50% of their games. Forget covering, they've only won 10. Because you're taking that, let's say they're 6-point favorites down to even. And I don't think New Orleans has been 10, 11-point favorites in a while. So they're like 6 down to even, 4 down to +2, and you can only get 10-10 on them. Means that they're not only are they not blowing out, they're barely winning. So this is a good team to bet against. Detroit has a good defense to bet against with. And that's it. 2013 doesn't help us in the analysis. Let's go to another method that I use. I look at the offensive per game totals, the defense, and then I come up with a variance. So when I look at defensively, Detroit gives up 19.4 a game, New Orleans 19.5. So they're both very good defensive teams. And this is why I look at the stats. You wouldn't know. You would say New Orleans is Drew Brees, and they're a pretty high-scoring team with a weak defense. But now the stats come in and say, no, they give up 19.4. Detroit, and New Orleans gives up 19.5. So all of a sudden you're going, the biggest impact that I see is Jacksonville only gives up 16-6. Jacksonville is terrible. Now they're a very good team. So now you've got to, here's where you throw away the trends. Jacksonville has always been a bet against the last 5-6 years. All of a sudden, the numbers speak for themselves. They score 27 a game, they give up 16, they're plus 11 in the variance, which is taking scoring minus, offensive points minus defensive points. And I find that to be very strong trend in the pros. Not much necessarily in college, but definitely in the pros. So here you have Jacksonville a plus 11 is unbelievable. But it's just to show you that you use the numbers as the teams change. This is why I'm successful. I don't sit there and go, well, Jacksonville still stinks, I'm going to keep betting against them. No, I can see the numbers change. Now, I'm not going to bet Jacksonville tomorrow or Sunday against the Rams. I think that's a pretty even game. And I'm not going to run and get Jacksonville, but if they played, I don't know, they lost to the Jets, which is very confusing to me. But if they played a weaker team, then I would, the weakest teams probably like Cleveland and Indy. I think Jacksonville could win those games. But it's where they're winning as a dog. Again, keep in mind psychology. Jacksonville won at Pittsburgh, at Houston, and in London against Baltimore, all as the dog. They go to the Jets and they lose to the Jets. They lose to Tennessee at home. So both times, well, they've been the favorite once, but they play totally different as the dog than they do as the favorite. That's the point of my analysis here. So we look at the analysis. Detroit's 24 points on offense, gives up 19, a plus 5.2. New Orleans is right behind them at 23 a game, giving up 19.5, a 3.8. So really, Detroit's a hair better than New Orleans. This tells me to take the underdog because you have two very evenly good defensive teams playing. If I were to tell you, I'll give you $1,000, pick me the winner, and we're in Vegas, and we're going to go money line, but the money line's even. Who would you take? Maybe you take Detroit. Maybe you take New Orleans. You don't know. It's not obvious. This isn't New England where you go, New England's going to win. This is, I'm not sure. When you look at it like that and you don't know, take the dog, especially getting 10.5, 11 points. It's a huge dog. When you can get over touchdown, it's huge, but when you get over 10 in the NFL, that's a very good bet. Very strong bet there. So that's team one. You're taking Detroit, good defense. They got Stafford. He's playing. They can't run the ball still. New Orleans, they're not going to do much against the Lions defense. It'll probably be a kind of a low-scoring game from what I'm looking at in the trends. Would be, maybe 21-17, somewhere in that neighborhood, and I couldn't tell you the winner. So take Detroit plus 10.5, 11. I teased them with Philadelphia yesterday, so I already got that half in. Philadelphia was the same, very even with Carolina. You take the dog, and that's where you can see if you look at the numbers. Plus, Philadelphia was a great road dog, so that's all the trends, all my methods. I'm looking at all of them. I'm looking at injuries. And now I'm going to get to another piece of my method that is kind of like method number 11 over here. Next game, New England. Now I see an 8.5 at the MGM. I'm going to bet it there. I do see 9s. So let's call it 9 down to 3, 8.5 down to 2.5. If you can get the 8.5 down to 2.5, bet it much bigger than the 9. Well, bet it bigger than the 9 down to 3. So let's look at New England playing the Jets. Now look at heads up. This is a game in conference, in the division, so I can look at head to head. When the game is in New York and New England's favored, they play close games. New England and the favorite are 4-1. The Jets and the dog are 4-1 the last 5. The dog is 6-1 in the series. New England has won 3 out of the last 4. They did win both of them last year, the year before they split. Now I don't know if that was, when Brady didn't play or what, but no, I think that was last year Brady didn't play. So again, it's just they play the Jets. The Jets play them fairly well, but not that well. Now let's go into the numbers. So this year you got the Jets, who I don't get it. All the radio hosts are bashing the Jets. They're the worst team. They're going to lay down for the draft pick, and I don't even understand. These sports announcers are the dumbest people I've ever. What would laying down do for you? You'd get the first pick. What's he going to do for you? How many first picks are any good anyway? Look at Jared Goff. He's terrible. And Jamarcus Russell's terrible. I mean, very few of them are any good. I wouldn't take Darnold with the first pick anyway, but if they did that, that'd be a huge mistake. So, basically I don't see the Jets tanking. I don't think the Jets are that bad. In the line, they're 4-1 as a favorite, and or 4-1 in the teaser, 3-2 against this year. They've been a home dog twice, and they won both. One was against Jacksonville. I think the other was against Cleveland or something. I know they beat Cleveland. I think they were at Cleveland. But anyway, they're 2-0 at home as a dog, which is good. But now you're facing Gronk's playing, Brady's playing. They're actually 2-3, but New England's 2-0 on the road, 0-3 at home, which is just insane. Bet against New England 4-1. So here's where you're watching the trends and you're scratching your head going, wait a minute, New England never loses at home, but they've won the 2 on the road. Now when you look at the standings, here's where the method goes, and you see, and you've got, excuse me. So when you look at the standings, now here's method number 11. New England's 3-2. The Jets are 3-2. Buffalo's 3-2. But then you got Kansas City 5-0, Denver at 3-1. Well, Howard, why are you talking about Kansas City and Denver? Because New England wants to be the 1 seed, right? So they look at everything as they're 2 behind the Chiefs, really 3 because the Chiefs beat them. So basically the panic button goes on in New England going, we have to win this game. We have to. And when you have to win, and you have Tom Brady, and you have Gronk, who's going to play, Hightower's back, you don't have the team that lost a few because they had all the injuries. Now you have a team that's getting a little healthy. But they're in a must-win now. Kansas City at 5-0 could afford to lose. They're not playing with the same intensity as the 3-2 New England Patriots, who if they lose go to 3-3, and the Jets and go to 4-2. They'll be 2 behind the Jets. This is what New England feasts on. This is what Tom Brady lives for, is this moment. There's no way in hell they're losing this game. The spread's cheap enough if you can get, like I said, 8.5. 9, maybe play a 6.5 point teaser. Get that freaking line under 3. And then pound it. That's exactly what you're looking for. New England in a must-win game, even though it's 5 in. They have to win. They can't lose sight of Kansas City. Denver's got, they're 3-1. They can go to 4-1. New England goes to 3-3. They're in big trouble. But you got Tom Brady. You got the Jets, the team that they play fairly well against in the division. Let's go into the numbers. So in 16 and 17, New England as a road favorite, and this is why I'm betting them. 10-0 as a road favorite. 19-5 overall. They're losing at home, but 10-0 as a road favorite. 5-5 against. So we talked about New Orleans barely. They're like 17-3 against as a home favorite. Here's New England, 10-0 as a road favorite. You know how hard it is to go 10-0 as a road favorite. I mean, Green Bay's a lousy road favorite. Pittsburgh's a lousy road favorite. And then you get to New England, and they're 10-0 as a road favorite. That's incredible, and that's all because of Tom Brady and their good defense, and the fact they can run the ball, and they're balanced, and they know what to look for. Let's look at the Jets. 5-3 is a home dog. 5-3 bet against is a home dog. So you have New England 10-0 as a road favorite, 19-5 overall, and 3 of the losses are this year, and they're at home. So here you got them on the road. And the Jets are 13-8, 62%, and to go against them 16-5, 76%. So let's push it back a year to 2015. New England 15-3 is a road favorite, 83%, 33-9, 79% overall. Bet against road favorite 11-7, 60%. No, nothing here would say I'm taking the Jets. The Jets is a home dog, 6-3. Bet against 5-4. So the Jets, they play kind of closer games at home, but still, 67%. Let's go back to 14 and let's see. Now New England's 19-6, 76% as a road favorite, 46-15 overall, just taking New England in a teaser. The Jets as a home dog is now 10-3, 77%, and 7-6 going in. So they're not a bad home dog if you go back to 14. I'm not going to get into 13. It's probably too far. Let's look at the defense and the offense here. New England's terrible defense this year, but they've had the injuries. They played bad against KC, bad against Carolina, giving up over 30 a game. But they got Hightower back. All of a sudden, I go bet them over last week, and all of a sudden they play good. It's insane, because that's more what you would have expected from New England. And if I knew their defense was going to play like that, I would have bet a ton on New England, lean 5 to Tampa. As a road favorite, I would have cut them to even. But I took it over because I thought they can't stop Carolina for 30 points. Enough with that. New England scores 29 a game, gives up 28. They're a +1. We'll look at the Jets. The Jets only score 18. They give up 21. So they got a kind of a weaker defense. And they're a -2.8. Now, granted, New England's defense is terrible this year. They're the worst in the league. The only worst one is Indianapolis. But you've had the injuries, and that's really the point is, New England healthy with Brady. The Jets aren't the type of team that's really going to take advantage of that. And let me get into that. So I also do a quarterback analysis. So let's look at Tom Brady. 340 yards a game, 11 touchdowns, and 1 interception. He ain't turning the ball over. He's not giving you a pick six or a free touchdown. And he throws for 340. And they played Carolina, and they played Kansas City. They played good defenses. Well, let's look at the Jets. Who's their quarterback? Josh McCown, I think. Trying to find who they're. Mike Lennon. Yeah. I think it's Josh McCown. Well, Detroit, Atlanta, Houston, the Jets. Sorry about that. I don't have the team next to it. Anyway, I think it's Josh McCown. Sorry about this. 1 second. I don't know. I can't find what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the Lions quarterback. Anyway, Josh McCown, throws for 200 yards a game, and he's got a whopping 4 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, if I'm reading that right. No, 5 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. So, yeah, Stafford. Yeah, I think it's Josh McCown is the quarterback. Anyway, you can see that he doesn't really throw a lot of touchdowns. Blair Powell, I think their leading running back, is out. So they're not really going to be able to run the ball in New England. But this guy's not the type of quarterback that really is going to hurt New England here. Let's see the injuries real quick. So what I'm saying is, well, New England, okay, they had trouble with Cam Newton, and they had trouble against Kansas City with Hakeem Hunt. But when I look at the Jets, they don't really have that offense that's going to scare them. Yeah, Belial Powell is questionable with a calf. So even if he plays, he'll probably play questionable, but I think New England can handle him. So what you're looking at, why am I betting New England? I'm getting a good spread. I'm getting them under 3. I'm betting Tom Brady and Gronk's back in a must-win game. They have to win. They're not going to go 3-3. They're not going to lose to the Jets. They're very comfortable playing in New York. Against the Giants is a different story with that tough defense, but the Jets' defense isn't that strong. Brady should have no problem putting up his 300 yards and a couple of touchdowns. So because they need the game, it makes New England an even better bet because they'll be focused. You see it all the time. Oklahoma beats Ohio State in college because they were focused and they were mad, revenge. They were the dog. Then they go and they play Iowa State and lose. How could they lose? They're better. Well, they weren't focused. Who knows? I like Iowa State, and I think they beat the hell out of them, and I thought they were the better team. But when you're looking at it, so there is that mentality. When Oklahoma does want to get fired up, they can actually win a game. New England, when they get fired up, they win Super Bowls. But this is a time that they have to win against the Jet team, and they're all 3-2. They're not even in first place. I mean, if New England loses, they're 2 games behind the Jets. And Buffalo's off, also, could be right there. So there's no way in hell New England's losing this game. Let's just say New England's going to give a fine effort. If somebody gets injured, they get injured or whatever. But I'm not expecting turnovers from Brady. Even if it's close, we're under 3 or 3 and under, but get it under 3. It's 9. Drop it down to 3, but try to get 2.5. Pay the extra half a point. I mean, they could easily win by 3. I'm not looking at. I mean, they could win by 20 here. I think their defense showed a lot of improvement against Tampa with Hightower. Now, if they play that defense and Brady against the Jets, it'll be a 20-point win. I just hope that defense is back because it's been injured. But the players who have been playing are getting more comfortable in it also. So look for Brady to take over. They're not going to lose this game, and you're only laying 2.5 points. New England, Detroit, strong dog. New England, must-win game. There's your teaser. Take it, pound it, off we go. I put out my new pricing for the rest of the year. Please feel free to email me and ask that. I get requests, how much is your stuff? Just go to my website, www.teaserking.com. Check it out. For the week, I mean, it's 75 college and 100 pro and 135 for both, and that includes all the locks. But you got to realize, like, most handicappers are like $40, but for one game or 2 games for one day. Oh, you want the next day? That's another $39. Oh, you want the next day? I'm giving you the whole package. So you got Thursday night, Friday, or in this case Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday night. You're getting 6 games, and you can see from my history, I'm playing. You know, I was 11-0 in college. I'm giving you 11 games in college, and I think I had 8 in the pros. So I'm giving you 19 games, not 2. I don't know if they rank them because I haven't bought from a handicapper since the mid '80s. And my guy used to give a percentage. You know, take Virginia over North Carolina, 75%. You give a little paragraph and you give me 4 or 5 games, and that's all I'd get. And I don't even know if I had the line because by then it was I'm getting it in the mail on Thursday. There was no internet back then, so all I know is that's what he would give me. And a lot of times I just used them because I was fairly talented in this back then. I just wanted a second opinion. You know, do you like, you know, if I like, you know, Texas Tech, do you like Texas Tech? And he'd give me 4 or 5 games. I don't even know if he'd have Texas Tech on it. But I'd look at his 4 or 5, I'd look at his percentage, and then I'd go with it. And that's what I try to do is I give you a unit, and I'm saying, hey, this is stronger. You know, 9 units is stronger than 5 units. The 5-unit game is, I like the game. It'd be like if I give you Baltimore, but they're all injured, and I don't love it, but I'm gonna play it because I'm getting huge trends, you know. So the trends are strong. They need the game. They just came off a loss, but I don't love it because of the injuries. So I'll give you like 5 units. Like, you should play it, but don't get killed on it. Just play it small, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do. So I'm saying 9 units, boom, and that's, you should come up with your own, based on your own bankroll, what a 5-unit play is, what a 7-unit, a 9, how much you're going to play the locks for. And keep in mind, I play the locks and my stronger picks in multiple teasers. So I hit the lock. The lock was 5-0 last week. I probably won 10 teasers with 5 locks. I mean, I know I had Michigan under in 2 teasers, Miami under in 2 teasers, San Diego State in 2 lock teasers, and Buffalo in 2 teasers. So I mean, right there's 10 teasers I've had with the 5 locks. So usually, you know, a good percentage. I'm really hot with my locks right now. I think I don't know what I am, 15-2 or something the last 17. But the locks play in multiple teasers, so you can't look at this as straight. And the straight bettors help us because they'll lower our lines. Because they're looking at, oh, the spread's 8 or the spread's 9. I'm going to take the 9 because I'm getting more than a touchdown. And we're looking at it like, get it down to 8 so we can go under 3. And that's the beauty of the teaser, because most people are betting the game straight, and they are lowering the line for us, and then we're just sitting there going, okay, great, now the line's a great teaser line, boom, and we're going to pound it. So that's really the key. So anyway, www.teaserking.com. Probably 6 or 7 pros. I'll have 1 lock in the pros, 1 lock in college. I'll spin them in a couple of different ways. And we'll go from there. So good luck, everybody. I hope you have a good weekend. Make a lot of money, at least with the video. Hopefully you'll buy and you'll get my stronger picks. These picks are usually fairly good picks, but not my best picks. That's, you know, I leave to the customers to give it to. But as you can see from the videos, I've been red hot with my video games also. All right, everybody, have a good weekend. www.teaserking.com. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.